Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or afternoon, good morning. This is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. It's kind of important that whenever you have a point to make, that whenever you're proven correct about it, that you do in fact go back to it and talk about how you called it. A lot of people want to try and say that making the whole called it sort of point, or see, I knew I was right sort of thing, that's just kind of petty. The thing is that if you don't go back and reinforce how right you were when making a point, your future points don't hold as much weight. Which now brings me back to one of the big points I made long ago when the Internet of Things was just being freshly introduced. And one of the points I made was that having a whole bunch of mini Wi-Fi enabled computers that aren't that smart and are very minimalistic to do minor things, it'd be hard to patch them. The moment a vulnerability is discovered, that it would be extremely difficult to fix it on a wide scale. To which a lot of people either just said, A, stop nitpicking and just enjoy your Wi-Fi connected RGB light bulbs that can change color using your phone. Or B, come on. How much damage could that really cause, if such a thing was even possible, which it isn't? It's just a Wi-Fi connected light bulb. What's the harm it could do? Well, it is today, October 21st, 2017, that once again I'd like to say, I flippin' called it. I freaking called it! It's not even negotiable. Now, granted, I'm not the only one in that corner. Lots of others are going, called it. And it has to do with the dangerously huge Wi-Fi vulnerability that was discovered in almost all Wi-Fi standards. There's a security vulnerability in what is called the WPA2 encryption process of the Wi-Fi protection protocol. The WPA2 is short for Wi-Fi Protection Access 2, which is one of the big standards. There is a flaw in it. However, it is very difficult to take advantage of this flaw. But if you do, it means that you can gain access to any device using this protocol. And WPA2 is a very, and I mean very, widely used encryption protocol. My Wi-Fi routers and every single Wi-Fi router I have ever set up uses WPA2. Okay, except that one. Because that one router, for whatever reason, to make a network, it would only use the extension on WEP, which I was extremely annoyed by. But that's beyond the point. Now, before you go panicking and run out into the streets, make yourself a tinfoil hat, and scream that the end is coming, I should be clear about something. This vulnerability has been patched long ago on smartphones, tablets, Mac, and Windows-based computers and laptops. However, routers are still vulnerable. Internet of Things devices, such as your automatic garage door opener, your security camera, your Wi-Fi connected light bulb, those smartphone controlled LED strips, televisions, your coffee maker, whatever. If it connects by the internet, it can be exploited by this. And all of these devices are extremely difficult to patch because developers just went, oh, whatever, we'll just add Wi-Fi capabilities and call it a modern Internet of Things device. So, how do you prevent yourself from getting exploited by this? One, don't be like one of the 1%. I mean, seriously, it is very difficult to take advantage of this exploit. But it's still very, it's still a big exploit. 2, update your firmware. Update all of the firmware. All of it. So go on your router, go to 192.168.1.1 in your web browser, and update it. The router is especially important to update, since that is normally the gateway into your entire network. I already checked my Asus router. It's got an update for it. I've checked a bunch of other routers. They've also got updates for them. Check for firmware updates. That's important. All right. So, now we got that out of the way. Update firmwares. Get your updates. There's a big vulnerability out there, and I really don't need your thermostats and light bulbs being used as part of a botnet to go DDoS Blizzard again. Or name a site. Which, by the way, yes, that is actually happening still. And the so-called KRACK vulnerability is being used to incorporate Internet of Things devices such as Wi-Fi connected light bulbs. And yes, I am going to keep using Wi-Fi connected light bulbs as an example because that is hands down the silliest Internet of Things thing there is. But I still get it. To create botnets to perform hack attacks on important servers. So yeah. Point is, update your stuff. It's important. Alright. Let's move on to happier stuff, shall we? This is the other big thing that I've needed to talk about. And that's the announcements made for the Twitch video streaming service made at TwitchCon. Right now, TwitchCon is going on. Big streamers from across the world are currently congregated over in Los Angeles, I want to say? Somewhere on the West Coast. And I'm not there because I have a life and I'm not important. I'm kidding. Anyway. A lot of new features have been announced. And I'm going to go down the list through the Twitch blog post. Alright? First off, premieres. Premieres is a new feature that they're introducing. Here is how Twitch describes it. Similar to how people gather around the TV for... Thank you, phone, for distracting me. Similar to how people gather around the TV for debuts of a favorite show, we want to help video creators organize first viewing events to generate most excitement, anticipation, and viewership around the unveiling of your new videos. By the end of this year, you'll be able to use premieres to transform your uploads into exciting live events by scheduling, hyping, and interacting with viewers in chat during the unveiling of your content. But what does it mean? Basically, right now there's a feature that is kind of sort of used on Twitch, but not really, called vodcasts. You upload videos to Twitch, you make a playlist of videos that you have uploaded, and it'll broadcast on your server in real time. Basically what Premieres is just, from what I understand here, the ability to schedule a future vodcast. And potentially even putting videos that have not been made public yet into a vodcast. So, kind of neat. That's going to be more for the actual pre-made videos, obviously. Not like, okay, I went and live streamed this, and now I'll use it to schedule a rebroadcast of that. I doubt it's going to be used that much for that. But we'll see. Raids. So, the Twitch raid has existed for a very, very, very long time, but there's never been an official support for it. What a Twitch raid is, for those who don't know, is normally, after a streamer finishes a stream, they do what's called a raid. Where they tell everyone that, alright, I'm done, here's a different streamer that I support, we're going to go raid them, and then the streamer and their viewers go into that other person's channel and just spam the chat, so-and-so raid, which then gives that chat exposure to that streamer and their viewers exposure to a different streamer who clearly streams at a different time. Alright, Twitch is now officially supporting this with a /raid command. The /raid command, which I have not had a chance to do yet, although I had a chance yesterday and just didn't know it existed, will automatically set your channel to host that streamer and put down a drop-down window inside your chat saying, we are raiding so-and-so, click here to join that chat. I'll have more information on this because my own Twitch channel does do raids very regularly. And I'm actually very interested to see how this works. Next up, rooms. With rooms, you can easily create separate spaces within your chat that allows your community to have more meaningful interactions and blah, 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 blah. Various chat rooms within your own channel. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. Here's one, though, that seems odd, and I'm not sure why this is a thing, but it apparently is. Rituals. Rituals make it easier for you to celebrate special moments that bring your community together. Say a viewer is checking out a channel for the first time. After a minute, she'll have a choice to signal the rest of the community that she's new to the channel. Twitch will break the ice for her in chat, and maybe she'll make some new friends. Rituals will help you build a more vibrant community when it launches in November. I have no idea what to think about this feature. I guess because I don't understand, like at all, whatever this feature is. I'm not even kidding. What is this feature? I may never know. Now let's actually move down to something that is much, much, much more interesting. Achievements. For many streamers, affiliate or partnership status is the dream, but the steps you should take to reach those goals haven't been clear. Let me interject. For partnership, yes. In order to get partnership status, it has been judged on a case-by-case basis. There used to be strong guidelines to follow. Then those guidelines were taken down and it was done seemingly at random. And it's been very difficult to find out what is needed to achieve partnership status. Affiliate status, though, on the other hand, it's very easy to obtain affiliate status. Just about anyone who at least has the will and the drive to do any sort of creative streaming. And by creative, I mean like the style is creative, not just plopping down and just playing a game mediocrely. You get what I mean. That's very easy. Unless the guidelines are going to change, affiliate status is just merely get 50 followers, have 3 concurrent viewers, and just stream at least, I think it's like at least 8 hours in a month, which, yeah, super easy. Just stream 3 times for 3 hours. Bam, made it. Achievements clarify those requirements and encourages creators to learn streaming best practices and interact with their communities. This feature is built to give streamers a fun roadmap to achieving greater success on Twitch. Check back in November for more. That is a key thing, because originally when they first announced this, they didn't say that it's available in that this is coming back in November. When they first announced this, people were going, well, where is this? I don't see it on my channel. And granted, if I saw this at the moment it was announced, which I'm not going to lie, I didn't. I feel bad about that. I too would have been scrambling all over my dashboard trying to find it, because I'd love to see what the guidelines are, what the goals are now to achieve partnership status. Anyone who streams wants partnership status. I mean, anyone who streams and continues to, at least. But that's that. I'll know more in November, and trust me, I will be keeping a close eye on this. Before they said that they're going to reveal the feature in November, now they're saying check back in November for more, implying that they're going to be more details about November. The thing is that November is only 2 weeks away. So, give me 2 weeks. We'll have more. And finally, subscription gifting. This is a feature that apparently everyone's been asking for, except me. I'm not even kidding. This never crossed my mind. As it reads, you've been asking us forever and we're happy to deliver just in time for the holiday season. Subscription gifting is coming soon. You'll be able to purchase a 1-month subscription to anyone, including the $5, $10, and $25 option. Gift receivers will receive a special social recognition. Gift givers will receive special recognition in chat and to third parties, and recipients will receive all the benefits of subscription. Give the gift of Twitch. Stay tuned for more news on this feature. We don't even get a month on this one. I mean, if they want it in time for the holiday season, My guess is that we're going to receive more details on this in probably mid to late November. Possibly early. Twitch, honestly... Here's the thing with Twitch that I've noticed with the way they reveal features. They promise they're going to reveal it much later than their actual goal. That way, when they hit their goal early, it's a shocking surprise that's already out. The same thing with the affiliate program. Not all of us affiliates didn't expect to get sub buttons until, like, probably around now. Let's be real honest. Almost all the affiliates figured, okay, we're going to get the affiliate button by next TwitchCon. And we've had it now for 5 months. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on the Twitch side of things, and we'll be hearing more down the road. But here's something that's far more fascinating to all of you who are not Twitch streamers, Twitch viewers, or whatever. And that's the sheer size of viewers watching people play video games. Let me throw some numbers at you. The audience size in 2016, that's confirmed. Hulu subscribers, 12 million. Pandora users, 81 million. ESPN subscribers, 90 million. iHeartRadio users, 90 million. Netflix subscribers, 93 million. Spotify users, 100 million. Now, these are the ones from last year. I already know iHeart has surpassed Spotify because iHeart gloated about it the moment they broke Spotify. HBO subscribers, 130 million. Twitch viewers, 185 million. More people are watching nerds play video games on Twitch than people subscribe to HBO watching Game of Thrones. And that is nothing, underline nothing, compared to the viewership that YouTube video gaming has. The YouTube gaming side of things has 517 million viewers. Wow. The thing is that's kind of surprising, though, is first off the massive gap between Twitch and YouTube. Because everyone's made to think that the gap between Twitch and YouTube is much closer. It really isn't. This also kind of explains YouTube's behavior. Remember, not too long ago, Twitch, of course, launched the affiliate program and basically made anyone who creates any kind of content that at least has even a small viewership able to monetize their content. Originally, I thought it was to compete with the fact that YouTube does the same thing. And I'm kind of right on that. The surprising thing, though, is the fact that YouTube, even with this dominance, not that long ago flipped off their smaller content creators. Because now remember, small content creators, like myself, cannot earn money on YouTube anymore. you've got to be at least quote-unquote medium-sized. Which then turns us closer to Twitch. Now, this chart comes from PCGamesN.com. And I'm very curious what the numbers are going to be for 2017. Unfortunately, we don't have those numbers quite yet. We're probably not going to have until mid next year. I'm very curious how much the gap has closed as Twitch is pushed harder and harder by parent company Amazon, and YouTube shuns its smaller content creators, while at the same time its bigger content creators like PewDiePie keep stepping in it. We're going to shift gears drastically over towards tiny motherboards. So Asus has now announced ROG Strix motherboards for the X370i and the B350i chipset platforms for AMD. Here's basically everything that's of note to these. A, they are very small motherboards. B, they have RGB all over them, and therefore it will be fun to make light up in all sorts of fun ways. And C, and honestly the most important thing to me as someone who loves to make the most powerful tiny boxes I can, it has a PCI Express slot, fully capable of handling a graphic card, and an M2 slot. My friends, if you're like me and you're still trying to figure out how to make the most powerful mini PC-based gaming console at the cheapest price, this will probably end up being a good option. Especially since Ryzen is a much more practical processor for the money. Performance per dollar, Ryzen wins. In addition to having the PCI Express slot, meaning you can add in whatever GPU you want, the built-in Wi-Fi, these are going to be some boards that maybe, just maybe, we can actually build a gaming PC that can game as well as an Xbox One Scorpio at the same price or cheaper than the Xbox One Scorpio. As soon as these boards come out on sale and we know the price, I guarantee you I will be trying to make that a reality. In addition, I want to also talk about the brand new NZXT gaming cases. Those of you who are in the PC building area, we have 3 new cases. There's 2 things to note for these, though. One, the CD-ROM slot is gone, which I know that's a going trend, and I need to, quote, get with the times, the CD-ROM is dead, unquote. But even if it is, the CD-ROM, the 5 1/4 bay, still gave a builder like me a lot more options, such as putting an LCD in there that gave the exact specs of the computer. such as temperature, how fast the fans are spinning, or a diagnostics LCD. There's a lot you could play around with there, especially with a Asus ROG motherboard. With this, though, you do have a front intake filter. Thank God. Intake filters are one of the things that I always look for when building any sort of high-end gaming rig, or even a workstation class machine. Block the dust before it gets into the case. Therefore, all you do is just take off the filter, wash it off, put it back on, you're set to go. But the last feature about these cases is kind of strange. And that being the quote-unquote cooling brain. There's a small mini computer inside these cases that controls the fan speeds of all the fans in the system. This sounds neat until you consider something. This already exists on every motherboard. Just about every single decent motherboard worth their salt has the ability, and already does, monitor their own temperatures and then adjust the fan speeds accordingly to help cool themselves off. Now, this might be a feature omitted on, say, the lower end motherboards, the one that just has one graphic card slot and whatnot. But as I keep saying, a motherboard is one of the last things you ever want to skimp on when building a computer. Because no matter how you look at it, the motherboard is the heart. And to just try and skip on that and then rely on this little other thing that kind of sort of not really works, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea just because this should be a thing that the motherboard should focus on, not a mini computer inside the case. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm sure some tester out there will try it out. Finally, finally, this is the last piece of computer hardware, I swear. But I had to talk about this. The ASRock X299 ITX, or ITX, I'm sorry. What's so special about this motherboard? Well, as the name implies, it's an ITX motherboard. Therefore, it is a very, very small form factor. It is also an X299 form factor. I mean, not a form factor, X299 chipset. Which means it has the very high-end CPU socket. The ones used for the Core i9s. Which I can't remember the name of the socket off the top of my head, and this article doesn't have it. To give you an idea how comical this motherboard is, this motherboard has, well, it's an ITX form factor. That means the motherboard is only 10 inches by 10 inches. The motherboard socket for the processor takes up 1/4 of the motherboard, smacked right in the middle. Because of this, the motherboard has to use laptop-size RAM. It has 4 SODIMM slots for the RAM. But it still has a full-size PCI Express slot for a graphic card. On top of having built-in wireless Ethernet, dual gigabit Ethernet, and this is just rich. Oh, did I mention it also has 3 M2 slots, including one that goes on a daughter board and slides in. ASRock, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy for making this motherboard. And for a motherboard manufacturer that's kind of just been kind of in the dark and kind of forgotten about, like ASRock, I'm proud of you guys. You guys just keep on being crazy. Never change. Alright, enough of the PC building. I want to talk about an announcement that came into me through Spreaker. Spreaker, if you don't know, is a podcast hosting service. My podcast is in fact hosted by Spreaker, and then syndicated to almost every single podcast outlet there is, including iTunes, including Google, and, I'm happy to say, including iHeartRadio. Spreaker has now made a deal with Amazon so that all Amazon Alexa devices, this would be the Echoes, now have voice access to Spreaker's podcast lineup. So you too can now say, Alexa, play Eagle Eyes on Tech, and it will in fact play this podcast. Now, just as the theme earlier today was knowing when to say "I told you so," you've also got to be able to say "I was wrong." And clearly, this is just another element into the "I was wrong" category, in thinking that the smart speaker market was going to shrink. Clearly, that's not happening. And I think by now it's safe to say this is no longer an area of, ooh, it's the shiny new hotness. Let's add a new thing to get people to buy it. I'd say that is very much, without a doubt, because people are actually buying this. It's been now over 2 years since the first Amazon Echo came out. It's safe to say it's not going anywhere. It is in fact growing, and I am perfectly okay with my podcast now being available to anyone just by talking to a speaker. Although it's a little ironic for a guy who has a giant microphone in his room, I still don't feel comfortable having the speaker listening to me at all times. Even though my phone already does it. Isn't that right, Siri? Oh wait, that's why I feel good about it, because Siri never listens. Seriously. Siri never works. The only time Siri actually listens to me is when I ask Siri to set a timer. This is the only time. Now for the last bird. The last article of the day. Sony is officially launching a new style of controller for the PS4. I want to be clear on this. This is not someone else making a controller. This is an official Sony PS4 controller. Now, the original PS4 controller looks very much like all their other PlayStation controllers. Feels kind of plasticky. You know, you've got your D-pad, your 4 buttons, triangle, square, X, circle, 2 joysticks, 4 trigger bumpers on the back. And then probably the most baffling thing is this touchpad, which every game I've played, the trackpad has been used just as a big button. Final Fantasy 15 used it as a big button. Nier Automata used it as a big button. And FF12, which I just finished, also just uses a big button. I have yet to encounter a game that uses the trackpad as a trackpad. The system does, to move a cursor around, but that's it. This smaller controller is designed very similarly, except it's technically has more surface area, but it doesn't have the hand grips, which make the controller comfortable to use. It is instead just a big blue D with the various buttons on it, except where the trackpad was, there is now just a big square button. And nowhere near as big as the trackpad. It's only about, I'd say, 1/4 of an inch by 1/2 of an inch, if that. Probably less than that, really. And actually, it looks only about 1 centimeter wide. But now, when I first talked about this in the chat on my Discord, everyone started talking about, you know, they're just copying Nintendo. They're just copying Nintendo. Oh, they're just copying Nintendo. That's not the thing here. No. The purpose of this controller is twofold. One, it is to make something that looks less intimidating. The PlayStation controller has pretty much now just become a symbol for quote-unquote professional gamers. They really did just want something colorful for the kids to use. That's why this exists. This also serves another purpose. It is the admission that the trackpad is, well, completely and utterly unused. I mean, what else could it possibly mean when push comes to shove? If the trackpad was useful, it would be here. Now, the article that talks about doesn't mention this, but it could. The little button could have a small trackpad on it and be used very similar to what track points are on very old laptops. The little mini joystick between the G, H, and B key, normally seen on ThinkPads. However, I seriously doubt that that's the goal here. The other goal also could be for the fact that this one is wired only. And it could be to help prevent kids from losing your nice wireless PlayStation controller. Maybe. Hard to say, though. Alright, that's going to do it for me. Before we go, I do want to quickly tell you, if you do want to support this podcast, all you have to do is go to twitch.tv/eagle_falcon, and you can subscribe, tip, cheer, whatever you want, and that helps support this podcast. We have no advertisers here. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. And all of you at TwitchCon, stay safe.